Finding gifts for filmmakers can be really hard, and today we're gonna go over 10 gift ideas for filmmakers. Now, all of these are gonna be under $100, majority even under 50. So we're gonna start with the cheapest and go from there. So let's jump into it. First and foremost, we're gonna talk about the Husky box cutter. Now, this thing, I like even still carry it with me. I bring it with me everywhere I go. These are so cheap. They go for $7. Right now, I think they're on sale for $4.97 at Home Depot. So I always get them from Home Depot. And if you can see, I actually marked mine yellow because I don't want it to get lost on set. The next one coming up at $15.99-ish is a hard drive holder. Now, I didn't really believe in these. I went the Velcro route by putting Velcro on my hard drive and on my laptop's back, but I ended up giving in and I love this thing. Now, the first one I bought was on Amazon, and that one actually has 2 pockets. I didn't realize it. On B&H, they only come with 1 pocket, which is the slip drive. I believe it's the original one. Either way, they're both great if you pick any of these. I like customizing mine. I like this feature because I can be editing on the fly and my hard drive is safely stored right next to me. Now, this next one is one of my favorite ones, and I didn't believe in these till I gave in and bought some. And I'm talking about pouches. Yes, organizers for camera gear. When you start buying enough equipment, you get to a point where it's kind of hard to tell where your lavs are, where your extra cables are, and it's so much easier if you just put everything together in a pouch. I actually started with one of these. They haven't lasted that long. I think I have less than a year or about a year with these, and they're pretty much destroyed. So I would recommend you get at least a branded one because they tend to be a little bit more secure. Like these Orcas that I picked up are actually really nice. They feel sturdy. They feel like they're gonna last me a long time. Now, this one is one of my personal favorite ones. I saw somebody on set with an amazing folding chair. I know it sounds super simple, but when you're on set for 10 hours and all the Apple box are being used, you have nowhere to sit down. So these folding chairs come so handy. Now, I cheaped out on Amazon and I got a cheap one for like 20 bucks, but once I was on set, I realized it actually squeaks. I tested my friend's that was like $40 and his does not squeak. So that's one test I would do. Make sure you buy a quality one and test if it squeaks or not. If it's somebody that's doing photography, it's much easier. But if it's a filmmaker, you don't want the sound guy staring at you like he wants to kill you or, you know, ruining a take. So get a quality one. Now, these are extremely underrated. I feel like not a lot of people use these. You look this much more professional, and I'm talking about label makers. It's super simple, it's super boring, but you don't know how amazing it is to have a Pelican case full of lensing that has labels and you know exactly what you're grabbing. Or when you're looking through all your pouches and you don't know which one is which because they all look the same, but guess what? Now you can put labels on these. Now, if your giftee has talked about getting into film photography, these Kodak half-frame cameras are the perfect way to start. Now, typically with the roll of film, you're getting about 35 exposures, which are photos, but with the half frame, it actually cuts your frame in half. That way, you're actually able to get 70 exposures. 70 photos you're able to take with these cameras. These go for about $40 to $50 or so on Amazon, and they are amazing. They come in many different colors. They use one battery for that classic flash photography that everyone seems to love. Fully automatic, super easy to put in your pocket. I love the one that I have, and I love it because I can take photos of my kids, my family, just when I hang out, when I'm on set, just random things, and it's so easy to just take a photo and forget about it. If you've noticed that the person you're trying to gift only has camera backpacks and all the gear keeps going on backpacks and backpacks, well, they've probably been debating on purchasing a hard case. Now, Pelican is kind of the industry standard within Pelican or Nanook, but those are gonna range you about $200 for the classic size. But I would suggest you start off with the cheaper one, like the Apache cases from Harbor Freight. I personally have purchased a couple of these 4800 cases for $60. Yes, you heard that, 60 bucks. Freaking Pelican is gonna run you 200. These start at 60. If you can, I'd go for a 4800 or the 3800. The 3800 is also really good, especially for a smaller system. And again, if you wanna get the insert, I'll be linking it down there. Now let's get into the fun stuff, lenses. And by lenses, I mean vintage, old ass lenses. Now, if you think that person wants to get kind of a film vibe, you know, it all has to do with the lenses that we use. And one great one to start with would be the Industar. Now, this Industar is like a classic old Russian lens, and there's many variations and different copies, and that is the best part of it because you don't really know what you're gonna get. Why this is nice is because you're not getting the digital look anymore of the extreme clinical sharpness. You're gonna get a more softer roll off on everything on your image. It's just gonna look so much different. Now, if that person wants to dive into this kind of look, which would be more of a film look, more of the cinematic, as they say, the Industar is a great way to start, but you don't have to stick to the Industar. You can get even a Canon FD. You can look into the contact set. There's many options, and you will probably get very overwhelmed. So if you don't want to dive anymore and your budget is about $40–50, I would go for the Industar, and if you can, I would get a lens mount adapter. Now, the Industar, I believe it's an M42, and then you would just get an adapter that's M42 to whatever camera system that person is using. If you use Google, you can find that very easily. The Helios is more of a classic vintage lens that it's been growing in so much popularity in these last couple of years. They used to be about $40 because I purchased mine for about $45 or so a couple years ago, and I looked them up and they're going for almost $100 now. So the Helios does make a very different, distinct image where it can warp the edges, and it just looks so interesting, so different. Especially if you've only been shooting in photo lenses, you will see an dramatic difference from the Helios to your photo lenses. You will lose contrast, you will lose sharpness, but it's the whole vibe that these things do. I waited forever to get a multi-tool, and I ended up buying the Gerber one. And after I had it, I realized how helpful this thing is, especially on set. Unfortunately, I had a piñata for my daughter's birthday. I tried to use it to remove the wire from the rope that we had used to fly the piñata, and the freaking Gerber tool I had just snapped on me. Now, the clamping part doesn't work anymore on it, and I realized these things are really cheap, and I actually emailed their customer service and they never replied, so I went ahead and just purchased a Leatherman. I highly recommend a Leatherman because it is such a helpful tool on set. The Leathermans average around $60–80, and honestly, you can't really go wrong with any of the ones that you purchased, so feel free to pick whichever one you'd like. Now, that's all I have for you guys today in this filmmaking gift guide. Let me know if you guys find it helpful. If you guys have any additional questions, drop them down below. I'll be linking all these products down there so you guys can find them much easier. And I'll see you guys on the next video.